Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction, and welcome to the start of a reading vlog. So in this spooky reading vlog, I am going to be documenting myself as I participate in different things for the Monster Mash Readathon, and also Hannah Blackwell has taken over my TBR. So Hannah ended up picking 3 books for me to read during the Monster Mash Readathon. So first up, we have Titan, which is a gargoyle human romance. I heard it is very, very spicy, and I'm obsessed with this cover. I just think it is so cool. I'm gonna show it to you guys again just because of like how awesome it is. And then I will also be reading Obsession. I believe this is a shifter romance. It's the first book in a series. I'm pretty sure some of my friends actually did a read along with this series and really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping to love this book. The cover is also absolutely stunning. And then last up, we have Baby and the Late Night Howlers. So this is also a motorcycle club shifter romance, and that's pretty much all I know, but I cannot wait. These books are all perfect for this time of year. I just love spooky season. It is my favorite time to read. So anyway, I will check in with you guys after we start Monster Mash Readathon and I start my first book. Hi guys, so I just filmed a couple videos and I figured it was the perfect time, since I have all of my lighting set up, to update you on my reading. Now, I haven't gotten very far. I'm about 200 pages into Titan, maybe a little bit less than that actually, now that I think about it. It's a pretty short book. Yeah, I'm 100 pages into Titan, I lied. But anyway, the book so far, I don't know how I'm feeling about it. It is definitely a monster romance. I knew that going in. But we're following this girl that used to be a child actress, and her mother ended up taking advantage of her and ended up stealing all of her money along with her manager. So now she's working as a sugar baby, trying to find like very rich clients so she can pay her rent and her bills while she tries to fight to get the money back from her mother. Well, anyway, she ends up going on a date with this guy, and then after having an amazing time, she steals the ring off of his hand, and when she does that, she finds out the guy she just slept with is actually a giant gargoyle, and he offers to pay her a lot of money to spend the night and kind of be his, and also help him to also help him to like blend in and be like more human. So overall, it's fine so far. I'm not loving the relationship. It is daddy kink, and I feel like daddy kink can either be absolutely obsessed with it, or I can find it cringy as hell. And right now it's kind of leaning a little bit more towards the cringy than like me being really into it. But we'll see if that changes. So anyway, I am going to go edit all of these videos, and then I'm gonna read a little bit more, and I will hopefully have the audiobook for Titan finished by the end of the night. Hi guys, and welcome to my car. So I ended up finishing Titan last night. I really wish I did an update like halfway into it, because I was absolutely loving it when I first started. Like, I was all about this monster romance, but I feel like it dragged towards the end. So I ended up rating it 3.75. Like I said, I was really into it. So to be completely spoiler free, I think I said this in my last clip, but it's been a while since I filmed that clip, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. But we're following this girl who used to be a child actress, and then her mother and her manager kind of took advantage of her and ended up taking like all the money she earned because she thought she was going to get it on her 18th birthday. So now she's like a sugar baby or an escort. And she ends up being an escort for this very attractive guy who she then finds out is a gargoyle when she tries to steal a ring while he's sleeping. So I guess the ring was like making it so he appeared human. So anyway, she ends up agreeing to like help the gargoyle locate this missing item, but also like blend in and act more human because he's still like not the greatest. And it's their romance. And I loved their romance. Like, I loved the whole like daddy dom like type thing. Because I feel like sometimes daddy can be like really, really cringy, but I was all for it with this. I just feel like this would have been a better novella. So there's the plot of like their romance, and then there's also everything going on with like her family, her mother and manager trying to take the money, and then the gargoyle like trying to find this object. So I don't know. I just feel like if it had been a novella, it would probably be like a 4.5 star. But because I was bored the last like hour of the book, I'm gonna give it like 3.5, 3.75. But I still really enjoyed it, and I'm happy I read it. So I will definitely be reading more from this author. But I did start Baby and the Late Night Howler on my way to work this morning, and so far I'm really into it. So I don't exactly know what Omegaverse is. I think this is my first Omegaverse read. I don't know the difference between like Omegaverse and like Shifter, but anyway, our main character in Baby and the Late Night Howler finds out she's an Omega, like, kind of late. I'm not exactly sure when you're supposed to find out, but she finds out in her, like, 20s. And it's really interesting because the way it works is, like, she can smell alphas, and she's trying to decide what alpha she wants to be with based on their scent. And, like, she met this guy at a bar who wasn't an alpha, he was a beta, but she was like, oh my god, he smells so, so good. So then she ends up finding his pack through, like, almost like an Omega alpha agency type thing. It's very interesting. So she ends up picking this pack, and it's a motorcycle club, and it's like really funny because I am not very far into the book at all, but all of the other packs that she kind of like interviewed with had these like grand nesting rooms, and the motorcycle club had like an underground like bunker type thing, and the agency that was like supposed to be pairing them together was like, oh no, this will not do. And the main character is like, it's fine, just because she like loves the scent of these guys that much. And like, obviously it's where she's supposed to be, but still. So I'm liking this one a lot so far. Hopefully this ends up being like a 4 or 5 star read. This was the book I was most anticipating reading. So far I'm really into it. But anyway, I will check in with you guys after I have read a little bit more of Baby and the Late Night Howlers. Alright guys, so I just want to pop on here and show off MyBookGoddess's newest collection. So for those of you who don't know, I am a rep for MyBookGoddess, and if you notice in most of my videos, I do wear bookish shirts, and most of them are from MyBookGoddess. So definitely check them out. You can use my code HF10 to save 10%, but this new drop is perfect for spooky season. So as you can see, I'm actually wearing like the demon shirt right now, and I also have this really awesome sweatshirt that has some very spicy sayings, if you know you know, and then a naughty and nice shirt, which is perfect for those Shifter fans, and there's just a little bit of everything. So if you're a fan of spicy bookish merch, definitely check out MyBookGoddess. Alright guys, so I finished this book, and I don't know how to feel about it. So I did enjoy it. I am very confused on what Omegaverse is, because this has shifters, or these people are acting like werewolves and they're calling themselves shifters, but they never actually shift. So is Omegaverse just like people that have werewolf type like abilities kind of, but don't actually shift into werewolves? I don't know. I'm very confused. I am also very confused on the fact that there are too many guys in this book for me to keep track of. So I love Why Choose. I've read many Why Choose in my day. However, there's too many. There's too many of them. So I know one guy is bad because I obviously finished the book from the beginning. I had my eye on this one guy, and I'm like, that guy, he's no good. I knew his name. Then I knew like the top biker, and the rest of them, I could not tell you their names, mostly because they have biker names and then they have their like actual name, and Baby, the main character, uses them interchangeably, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. Like, are you the sweet one? Are you? Because they all do have very distinct personalities. When she starts talking to one of the guys, I never knew which one it was. So that might be me. I did text Hannah and was like, I can't keep these guys straight. And she was like, yeah, I kind of had the same issue. But besides that, I really enjoyed it. So I think I already talked about this. I really need to start like listening to my clips prior to filming my next clip, just because I forget what I said. But we're essentially following Baby, who is this girl who finds out that she's actually I think Omega, and she now needs to find alphas for her to be with, so that way she can eventually I guess, breed and like go from there. Anyway, she ends up picking a group of bikers that everyone else is kind of turned down because they aren't like the most, I don't know, they're a bunch of bikers. She's not living like lavishly. She's gonna be living behind their shop, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, she just loves the way they smell, and they end up all having relationships, and she gets something different from each and every one of them. And I like the story. It did have a decent amount of action towards the end of the book, and the book kind of reminded me of something, but I can't exactly remember what book it's reminding me of, but it definitely feels like another book I've read. But overall, it was fine. I just don't know if it's gonna be a standout read. Like, I'm already having trouble kind of trying to summarize it for you guys. So I feel like in a few months, I'm gonna forget what most of this book was about. But overall, it was a very fun shifter time, super, super spicy, and I ended up liking it. So overall, I would probably give it like 3.75, 4, like somewhere in that area. But anyway, so I finished that and I started Obsession. So I'm so confused. Maybe I'm just having a hard time reading. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with me. It's been a rough week at work. I'm gonna blame it on that. But I started Obsession. Who are we supposed to be rooting for here? And is this Why Choose? Because I had no idea it was Why Choose, if it is. So we're following this girl, and she's from a very like prominent werewolf pack. And she is unable to shift, so her family has pretty much like ostracized her, and they're like, we don't like you. Like, why can't you shift? You're making us look bad. So she ends up having to go to this graduate school that is like a graduate school for shifters and vampires and witches, where it's kind of like kingmakers, but they paranormal. So she gets there and she sees this guy that's also a werewolf that actually ended up was her mate, and then she turned him down. So he is trying to make her life a living hell. So there's also a vampire who's actually the first POV we get, and he is like obsessed with her, and he's been stalking her, and he's like, I really want to sleep with her, but also that might end up with me killing her because I'm a vampire, and then the werewolves are gonna get mad at me, so like, don't do that. And then there's another vampire who's also a priest. I don't know what's going on with him. And then there's a Viking. So there's a lot. And I keep thinking that I was positive it was like vampire werewolf romance, and we were supposed to root for the vampire, the one that's been stalking her. His name's Noah, and our main character. But she just had a spanky fun time with the priest vampire, who's also kind of like a professor. And the werewolf that she turned down keeps trying to mate with her. So it's seeming Why Choose. And I had no idea. Like, if it does end up being Why Choose, like, yes, I love Why Choose, but how did I not know going into this? But anyway, I'm having a very fun time. So I have to film a couple videos and then run some errands. I have a Halloween party tomorrow that I'm very excited for, and just a lot of stuff. So I will check in with you guys after I have finished with Obsession, and I'll give you like my overall thoughts regarding all of the books. All right, guys, welcome to the final update. So I'm gonna go over all of my overall thoughts on each book. I will keep it completely spoiler-free, but first I wanna say thank you to Hannah just for collabing with me, and also for setting up Monster Mash. I had so much fun. I read so many like creepy monster books. I did not black out my bingo board, unfortunately. However, I still had a really good time. But anyway, let's get into my overall thoughts on these books. First up, we have Titan. I will say, after finishing this, I actually think I went down a star. So I would probably give this, you know what, I'll give it 3 stars. Overall, I liked it. I just wish it was shorter. I think it would have been a great novella. There was just too much going on with like the second plot towards the end of the book. But I did like the writing, so I will be picking up more from this author. Now, I had a realization about Baby and the Late Night Howlers. So I was really into this. I finally figured out what Omegaverse is, because like I didn't understand how this was a shifter romance and no one was shifting, but I guess it's because like they just, I lied. I don't know what Omegaverse is. Guys, help me out in the comments. But anyway, I did end up liking this for the most part. I have never read a Why Choose romance where I could not keep all of the males straight in my head. Like, I could not tell you if you asked me who was who, especially because in this book, all of the different shifters have their regular name and then they have their biker name, and they kind of go by both, like they use them interchangeably. So like, I knew one guy was like the bad guy. I had that from the very beginning. and the rest, like, I was kind of all over the place with this. So overall, it was fine. So I think I would give this like 3.75 4 stars overall. I will say it was very, very spicy. There was a lot of it, and I wasn't crazy about the spice, and I was like, what book is this reminding me of? Because it was really reminding me of a certain book. It was reminding me of Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, which is another book that I know a lot of my friends have absolutely loved that I hated. And I was like, oh gosh, this is the same author that wrote that book. So I actually like this way more than Lady of Rooksgrave Manor, but I will say this author and me, I don't think we jive very well. So I know that now, moving forward, but I do kind of want to pick up the next book in this series just because I really like the character that the next book is going to be about. So I'm happy I read this, and we'll be reading more, I guess, from this author. Definitely the next book. I don't know if I'm going to continue after that, but we will see. And last up, we have Obsession. This was definitely my favorite out of the 3 books by far. I would say this is like 4.25, 4.5. I had such a fun time with this. I can't believe I didn't know this was Why Choose. I don't know how I missed that, but this was really good, and it had the right amount of like story and also spice, and I loved it. So I will definitely be reading more in this series, and I cannot wait. So those are my overall thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely check out Hannah's video now that you're finished watching this one. I cannot wait to see what she thinks about the books I picked. But anyway, I said this already, I post 2 videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!